With just points difference separating the Robins and Rhinos on the Super League table, we expect a close encounter as two contrasting styles clash here at Craven Park. Both winners in round 6, both hoping to head to Easter with consecutive victories under their belts. Well, 3 changes for Willie Peters' Robins from the team that beat Wakefield. Opachik, Mills and Staunton make way for a trio returning, having passed concussion return to play protocols. Frankie Halton is straight into the second row and Dean Hadley comes onto the bench. Super boot Jordan Abdul's return to the halves is a huge boost to a side still searching for some consistency. Well, 4 in, 4 out for the visitors. No Myler, McDonald, Walters or Johnson. But those losses are offset by the additions of Lewis Roberts on the bench alongside the returning Mikolaj Oledzki. And in the pack, back from suspension, is James Bentley. It is a very special night for fullback Luke Hooley, who makes his Super League and Leeds Rhinos debut. Let's take you into the dressing rooms here at Hull KR as we welcome viewers from around the world taking this broadcast throughout Europe, the Americas, Australia and of course New Zealand, where Sir Peter Leach is amongst the New Zealand Rugby League fans. He is of course their biggest fan, who have woken early to watch this. Here's the Leeds Rhinos dressing room with Cam Smith having a quick word with debutant Luke Hooley. Cam Smith of course excellent in that Leeds Rhinos victory over the Catalan Dragons. Well, let's keep an eye tonight on 2 players who have had standout performances for their sides in recent games. Mikey Lewis for Hull KR and Blake Austin for the Leeds Rhinos. Leeds go into this one as narrow favourites to emerge victorious. 4th and 7th on the table, but as I said, just points difference separating these sides who have identical win records this season. John Wells, final thoughts from you ahead of this fixture. You want to see what from Hull KR to emerge victorious?
I think more of the same, certainly what they produced last week against Wakefield. Very disciplined, very patient. Willie Peters talks about playing the short game, and he doesn't mean short in terms of short kicks or short passes. He means he wants them to build, he wants them to be patient. He doesn't want them to play the short game. It's the complete opposite of what I was saying. He wants them to be patient, wants them to build. He sees the Leeds Rhinos as the team that try to play the short game, the ones that try and shortcut, try and circumvent the usual ways of playing. He's not interested in that. He wants patience, he wants building, and he wants executing when in position.
Willie Peters describing Leeds as a side who will try and snatch momentum through those spectacular plays when you least expect them, John. What must Rowan Smith's side do to win this one?
Well, I just think they have to build on what worked for them in the back end of the Catalan game, and it wasn't flashy, it wasn't tricks, it was running hard out of a cannon, and that's what got them over the line in that second half.
Well, we will soon hear the roar of one of the most passionate followings in the game. And what can the visiting Rhinos do to mute those raucous Robins? Hot and humid in the tunnel, wet and windy outside. Here come the Robins and Rhinos.
Abdul, crossfield kick. The ball is batted down. Little kick from Abdul. Lovely try from Frankie Halton. Abdul's pass. Out it comes. Here goes Hanley. Oh, the step. What a try. Myler's going to score. Myler's going to score for Leeds. Austin with the drop goal.
Here they come, and here comes the roar. Led out by Lachlan Coote and Cameron Smith. John Wilkin, John Wells, prediction time.
I've changed my mind. Leeds. I'm going Leeds. It's got to be Leeds after last week's performance, Brian. It's got to be.
Within an hour, he has jumped horses. John Wells.
No, I'm sticking to my guns. With one person we haven't mentioned, Lachlan Coote, one of the best players in the competition. Him, Mikey Lewis and Jordan Abdul, KR win.
Wherever in the world you are watching this broadcast, enjoy it and do it in the company of Phil Clark, Terry O'Connor, and leading our commentary team, Stuart Pike.
Yes, thank you, Brian. You kind of sense already, don't you, that this is a pivotal game for both KR and Leeds. Yes, it may only be game 7, but a real chance to put down a big marker. Top 6 of the playoffs, the minimum requirement for both clubs. Conditions will play a part. Marcus Griffiths will get us underway. The referee tonight, Ben Thaler, is the video referee. And here we go as the rain continues to swirl and gets heavier around Craven Park. And that, I'm sure, is going to play a big part when you look at the kicking game. The height that Abdul gets, the height that Austin gets, it's going to be a night for the fullbacks to be on their best behaviour.
Yeah, and the forwards. Like, weather like this is made for forwards, isn't it? You know that you're not going to probably see that attractive brand of rugby, but although both sides will try it, Stuart, but it is definitely a day for the forwards. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to get stuck into each other? John Wilkin in the studio talked about what Leeds did against Catalan last week. They were a different animal in the second half. They run hard. That's what they need to do today against a determined Hull KR team.
Well, a decent set, goes back to Lachlan Coote, and here is the first test on debut for Luke Cooley. Gets in at the second attempt, but he holds on. Big moment, takes it well, will settle a Nerval too.
It's a great first touch, isn't it? A great first touch, and he gets back into the field of play, and it's now Leeds' turn. I think Hull Kings will be delighted if you go set for set. Well, they've got to the other end of the field and tackle Luke Cooley just close to his try line.
What an occasion it will be for Luke Cooley in for Richie Myler. And there he is on debut. Only 24, one of the best players in the championship, finally getting his go.
Well, he was ever present last year. He scored 21 tries in the season. Like, he is a genuine fullback and an attacking threat as well.
Cameron Smith leading the Rhinos as he did in that fabulous comeback last weekend against Catalan. A Connor at dummy half. And it will be Caesar who gets it away, swirling, bobbling, bouncing, taken by Coote. And an opportunity for Senior midway inside his own half of the field. Cagey start from both.
Well, you know, we saw 40 kicks in the game that was played last night between Lee and Wigan, and we'll probably see a similar number tonight. But the outcome of so many rugby league games are determined on the accuracy and the effectiveness of those kicks from both sides. At the moment, not much difference between the two.
Maybe a little high, the referee agrees. Austin, it was high on Frankie Holton, and the first penalty goes to Hull KR.
Well, he just skips outside in. First contact is around the shoulder, it slides up. The referee says, yeah, that's a penalty. Obviously, discipline will be key in these conditions.
And if you saw before the game, John Wells did a great piece looking at where Hull Kings Rovers have scored their tries from this year, where the play of the ball's come that's led to the try. And it tends to be between 20 metres and the try line. This is where they're at the most dangerous.
Well, let's see. Again, maybe a little bit high, but Reece Kennedy, who has made a really good start for Rovers this season. Parcell running across the line. Dangerous, the former Leeds player. Only a yard or two away from that try line. But he may well have lost the ball. Well, it was the first opportunity and it was the first mistake. And that is bitterly disappointing for Hull KR, the mistake from Matt Parcell.
Yeah, you've got to wrap him up, haven't you? He scoots across that defensive line. You can see enough players around him. Was he trying to reach his arm out? You could see the try line in front of him. Caesar was there. You can see, look, he's trying to go for the try line. He's thinking he's been dragged towards that line for another set of 6. And Willie Peters knows.
That was a really good opportunity, wasn't it? Both coaches, you feel, Rowan Smith and Willie Peters, are trying to build a dynasty, aren't they? It's a new era for both clubs. And I know Rowan Smith in his first year got them to a first full year, got them to a grand final, but Willie Peters has big ambitions for this club, as the club do on and off the field.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of good work, isn't there, going on? If you're a Robins fan, you're excited. The new investment on the board, packed out stadiums all the time, and every team's got to evolve. New players coming in, youngsters coming through the system, giving opportunities.
Midway inside their own half as Tetevano is brought down. Here is Smith, and the moment it's steady away from both. No risk football. And in these conditions, that has to be the way, certainly early doors. Austin gets the kick away, but taken well by Senior, who makes good yardage. Abdul, involved and busy, as he always will be, always wants to be. Here is Parcell. Ryan Hall Always wants to get involved, doesn't he, coming off the wing.
He carries it as well as any prop forward, doesn't he, Ryan Holt?
He'd love a big game tonight for sure. Here's Holton.
Oh, he's lost the ball.
Looks like he has again, and if the conditions, this is what's going to happen.
Well, you hit anywhere around the ball in these conditions, like you say, Stuart, that you're going to make a mistake. Bentley.
Is that an intention? Hits the ball out. A little bit unlucky there, isn't it?
Bentley. It was Bentley.
Well, Marcus Griffiths, his interpretation, that must have been a loose carry from him. Yeah, there was a swinging arm from Bentley.
10 seconds.
It was a savvy play, I think, wasn't it?
Shot clock. Half bowling, mate.
Knew what he was doing and got away with it. It looked like Rovers were going to charge the scrum then, but
well, I'm not
out it
surprised.
comes.
2 weeks ago, they were embarrassed early in the game when Catalan pushed them off a scrum. They fed the ball themselves, so far sharper, more aggressive early in the scrums tonight.
Here's Smith. What a good start to the season he's had.
Yeah, he's been good. Been very good mixing up that, knowing when to run and when to pass. Oh, he's put the mockers on him.
Well, there's the mistake. So already, I think we've had 3 or 4 errors, haven't we, in the opening 5 or 6 minutes here, and it's going to be the story of the night.
Yeah, conditions been pouring down all afternoon here. And you can see, just tries to get up, just plants the ball down, doesn't really have control of it as he's trying to roll it back.
They both had big wins last weekend, of course. Fabulous comeback from the Rhinos, 22-8 down.
I thought I hit an incorrect play. The ball was a handover, not a scrum, but the referee must have interpreted it a different way there.
Yeah, good point.
Perhaps we overcomplicated the game.
Linnett now. Here is Parcell. Mikey Lewis.
Well, keeping it nice and tight, aren't they? Just dropping the ball underneath.
Back with me, Jared. Not early, mate. 3. Go 3. That's okay.
Minchella and Abdul Koop looking for some space. Reece Martin, who was a revelation, wasn't he? He was brilliant with ball in hand, not so much with his boot last week against Catalan, but could be a masterstroke playing him in the centre. We shall see. Here's Kane Linnett once more.
Again, going down the middle.
Yep. What can they do? Last one. It comes to Abdul. He'll arrow the kick towards this touchline, and it looked to come off Senior. It did come off Senior, and Leeds will get it back with a tap on their own 20. 8 minutes gone, still 0-0, and still the rain hammers down in Hull.
It is very cagey, this game. You know, both would like to play that fast-track sort of rugby that both of them do like to chance their arm, but you've got to play the conditions sometime as well. If you're a forward, let me tell you, in these conditions, you want the ball early. You don't want it flat and fast at the line. You want it nice and easy, in your hands, without defenders in front of you, and you pick your man you run at.
Alfort's first run up, just shy of halfway.
You see a lot of this, don't you? One pass and then a player runs, but he needs his teammates to run along with him, doesn't he? It's not one-man efforts.
Austin turns it inside. First bit of play, expansive play from the Leeds Rhinos. McDonald. Possibly the second time that they've been in the Rovers half, actually with ball in hand, and that little short pass, Aidan Caesar. The ball will surely go back. Austin is waiting, looking. What's he going to do, Blake Austin? It's a little grubber kick. It's a dangerous one, but it was well read by Jordan Abdul. Perfect positioning from the scrum half.
Well, this is, again, give away a penalty before. They want to try and turn the screw here. Be disciplined. Let me tell you, that crowd over there will be trying everything to get a penalty out the referee.
Lewis Senior. Yeah, it's interesting in these early stages that both wingers are eager to get their hands on the ball.
It's a great run there, wasn't it, by James Bennett? Yeah. You know, he's played all 6 games as a second row. He's asked to play as a centre tonight. Quite a bit of pressure and anxiety defending as a centre it is to a second row. Massive kick here.
Huge spiraler, and Hooley, in the end, it stays in play. He let it bounce, and a bit of fortune there for Luke Hooley, but what a teasing, demanding kick from Jordan Abdul.
Well, Jordan Abdul, his boot is phenomenal, isn't it?
Blake Austin in back play is looking hurt as well. He's taken a blow. That'll be interesting. That would be a blow. He's, at the moment, just standing out here on this left wing, Blake Austin. Here is Cameron Smith for Leeds. 10 minutes in. 0-0, last tackle. Well, Kennedy and Lynette in there with the tackle. Smith was looking for a penalty, not given. And Caesar it is. But again, easily covered by Lewis Senior for Hull Kingston Rovers. The kicking game at the moment certainly has been much better from KR. Saints 4-0 up against Wakefield.
Well, the back three doing a decent job. First Senior, then Ryan Hall catching the ball on the full. Caesar looking for as much distance as he could get. A set restart again here.
Yeah, Batchelor playing in the centre. Last time he played in the centre was for Wakefield against Warrington all the way back last June. But it was interesting hearing what Willie Peters had to say to Jenna earlier on before the game. That came off a Leeds hand. It may well have come off Bentley, 6 to go, but he had no qualms whatsoever about putting Bentley in the centre. Opacek and Kenny Dowell, the first choice centres, both out for KR. But they're having the best of things. Can they turn their advantage in the early stages into points? Here is Reece Kennedy.
Move, come on, mate.
6'5", 17.5 stone. And one of the first signings made by Willie Peters. Abdul it was, and it came off a Leeds boot, but I think it was ball to boot rather than played.
I thought he played at that then, Zain Tetavana.
Play on, King charges for the line. Cameron Smith in there with the tackle. Still a couple left in this set. Abdul with a short pass. Kane Lynette on the charge, on the last, right on the try line once more. It's Mikey Lewis who kicks it forward and then manages to roll over the try line.
He's a great player, isn't he, Mikey Lewis? You talk about you needing players who want to compete. He recognises Holroyd's trapped in the field of play, but he rolls him over the line. The referee's in a great position. See, he isn't tackled at that point, and the momentum of the tackle takes him backwards, clearly over the line. You're right, Stuart, they're winning the territorial battle. Well, Leeds have shown in the past you don't have to have the most territory to win games.
Well, they go short. Rovers come up with it.
I don't think they were expecting that to go short then, did they? The chase wasn't so good.
Ryan Hall.
Is that the wind? I think we're underestimating how much wind is in the favour of Hull KR at the moment.
Here is King. Really does the hard yards, doesn't he, George King? An unsung hero. Goes unnoticed, but puts in a ton of work. Abdul with the little short pass for Frankie Holton. But Rovers at the moment are doing most things right, and I think he's dropped it again. That's the second time that we've seen an error from Frankie Holton. And each time, Hull KR are getting close and close and closer. They're making mistakes.
Yeah, well, he's a big back rower. When he goes into this tackle, you can see he tries to readjust, but before that, look, here, he thinks that he might have been able to get an offload away. He makes the mistake. In good field position, the coach killers them.
There's a couple of errors from Frankie Holton.
Well, up until this point, Hull KR have had 5 times as many play the balls in their opponent's half. You've seen it's been to the right of the pitch so far. But I think Leeds have got the ability and the confidence, experience to survive being in their own end of the field for a while. They don't panic.
Well, there's a big problem in background. I think it's Fussy to it. It is. Doesn't look well at all with the physio.
Right in the far corner. It looks like he's picked up an ankle injury, of course, had a nightmare with injuries, didn't he? And that is a bitter blow for Leeds. Foot to it.
They bring Louis Roberts onto the right wing here now as O'Connor takes him up towards the halfway line.
Yeah, Roberts has to be the option off the bench. The 21-year-old plays as a centre, or played as a centre at Lee before joining the Leeds Rhinos. Caesar Austin with a little slip pass inside, and there was Luke Cooley doing what he did so often for Batley off that little play. Austin goes high. Lachlan Coote takes it well, under pressure from Cameron Smith, gets away from the Leeds captain once, but not twice. Cagey it is, but 15 minutes in, still 0-0, and I would suggest that Rowan Smith, despite the fact they haven't seen much ball, will be happy with the way that his side has defended.
Well, I think so, yeah. I mean, it's gone end to end, and the speed's just gone up another level here. I think most people can exercise for about 12 minutes, and at that 12 to 15-minute mark, then your body starts to tell you to slow down. Hull Kingston Rovers have decided to try and speed it up here. They think they might have Leeds on the ropes.
So footed to it off. I'm sure we'll get news from Jenna soon enough, but it didn't look too good. Another set restart. Here is Minchella. What a key player he is for Hull KR. Captain Minchella along with Coote. Abdul with a short pass. Here is Holton. This time has to hold on to the ball and does. Parcell and Abdul. And here is King. Again, another powerful, strong run. And again, they're right in front of those Leeds posts. Parcell, Abdul with a little dummy. Abdul on the charge. Abdul stretches out and he stopped just short. Hooley was in there. It was Smith as well with the tackle. Lynette on the charge. Hasn't got the ball down. Surely held up over the line, you would think.
I've got no try.
Well, the referee has said no try. It looked like he was held up. It should be a relatively easy decision for Ben Thaler. We shall see.
A live call, I feel there's no try. Can we just go into the grounding, please? So the live call is for held up. You can see the ball there in his left hand. It's still up in the air. And just keep rolling on something there. The ball looks to maintain to be up at that point. Can we just have that slower or the angle from behind again, please, to make sure it doesn't hit the ground and come up? All the evidence appears at the minute that it is held up. The ball is up there, still up. We'll lose the ball. We keep going on this angle, keep going where the ball was. It's still being up. We have a live call of no try. Can't see the ball there at all. Just go back on that one, please. Right, we know the left arm is underneath the ball. If we can keep going on this, it's a really good angle to use. Okay, on that you can clearly see that the hand is underneath the ball and it keeps going up and up. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
Well, it was the right decision, without a doubt, from Marcus Griffiths, just to go and have a look at it, because it wasn't far away, was it? But there was a hand under the ball, and the decision confirmed as no try.
And I tell you what, I think that breaking play has just given Leeds a massive advantage. They were rocking here. They had some tired legs moving around. They've had time to recover here now and defend again. A massive break and a massive advantage there for them.
Yeah, good 2 minutes rest on the line. Last one, it is again. But they're going nowhere. And that will be the turnover. McDonnell again, who does good work, good defence, good tackling, and again, Leeds keep on.
Stuart, he's a quiet achiever, James McDonnell.
Yep.
He did really well to prevent that try from being scored along with Luke Hooley, but he goes around, does his job defensively. He's outstanding.
The Leeds, of course, have got Nikolaj Zalewski to come on for his first game of the season, and these conditions made for Zalewski. We shall see. Don't forget, by the way, Easter weekend, all 6 Super League games live and exclusive on Sky Sports. 0-0, 18 minutes on the clock. Ball goes back again for Blake Austin. Just does what he can, just holds up in the turf and watched very closely, very carefully by Lachlan Coote. Nowhere really for senior to go, brought down by Bentley and by Reece Martin.
It's another good defensive set, isn't it, from KR? 29 metres the Rhinos made with the ball then.
You're right, Terry. You know, the Hull KR fans were disappointed when his team lost at home to Lee, but the determination and the aggression, the opening quarter's performance here means that they want to make up with it with a win over Leeds.
Frustrating, though, for KR and for Willie Peters, I'm sure. And then there's the error from Kennedy. And O'Connor picks up the loose ball, and Leeds are doing what they have to do at the moment.
Well, that's it. They've got to make sure that they keep on matching this KR side. KR have got the position. They've had a lot of possession as well, more possession than Leeds Rhinos.
Well, I mentioned right at the start that the playoffs is an absolute minimum for both. As Austin looks for another really good kick. Blake Austin's already hit 2 40-20s, but that wasn't the idea. The idea was to pin Lachlan Coote back on his own try line, and Austin, with a fabulous chase to his own kick, brings the KR fullback down.
Well, they've been under pressure, haven't they, here now, for 10 or 15 minutes, and it takes a sensible and a confident, a brave player to try and change the momentum of the match. Kicked early, got a chase, and maybe if they work hard, they might be able to contain Hull KR at this end of the field.
Parcell with a good, that was a smart run as well, just to relieve the pressure on his forwards. Made good yardage. King again. Tackle from Smith. O'Connor in there as well. O'Connor, 47 tackles in just over 70 minutes in their win last week against Catalan. But there's the tester, there's the teaser, and there's the mistake by Luke Cooley. He watched it, and he watched it, but that was just one of the best kicks in the conditions you can see.
Well, it's going absolutely everywhere. You could see he thought he had it, Luke Cooley, and then he had to readjust, and he tried and get underneath it. Unfortunately made an error.
Okay, let's quickly go down to pitch side. We saw David Fusatu'a limp off with what looked like a nasty injury. Gemma?
Yeah, evening, Stuart. Not only was he limping, he actually was being helped from the pitch. He was helped all the way around. I'm being told it's a left ankle injury. He's gone straight down the tunnel. I'll try and get an update for you in the next few moments.
Thank you. I don't think he'll be coming back, David Fusatu'a. Roberts is on the wing. And here comes Frankie Holton now. A mistake from Hooley. After that brilliant kick once again from Abdul. It was always going to be a baptism of fire for Luke Cooley on debut tonight. Lewis finds Lynette, already come close a couple of times. Kane Lynette, very dangerous on that left edge. Parcell, King once more. Crunching tackle from Smith, and Tetavano's in there, but right in front of the Leeds post. So far, the Rhinos' defence has been absolutely outstanding. Abdul, little kick through again. Alfort's under pressure. He did the right thing. He took no chances whatsoever.
Well, before this game, Hull Rovers had forced the second most goal-line dropouts. They do this. Willie Peters and the club must believe it's a strategy that will eventually lead to success. But you have to convert some of this field position into points. It's not going to go like this for the next 60 minutes.
Second goal line dropout.
Unlucky, very unlucky, just short, wasn't it? He's aimed for the 10-metre line.
Yeah, but
hasn't quite gone the 10 metres, and this is a very fine call by the touches. He's in an excellent position, well prepared.
Well, they are prepared to gamble, aren't they? Let's have a look. Yeah. Good decision. Watch closely.
100% right.
I think they're going to go for the 2 points.
I'll get points on the board, like Phil said it. Leeds Rhinos, they've gone for it. Just short, didn't quite get it. Rowan Smith, he was quite open about whether it be short dropouts, short kickoffs. He said it in a press conference before the season started that that's what he wanted to do, wanted to chance his arm.
Well, he's putting his own mark, his own stamp on the way that his team plays, and that's what a coach should do.
I agree. I mean, the two Johnnies in the studio before the game had a debate about whether we need to entertain or whether we just need to win. I sit more in the entertaining camp, and I think that the variety of play that Leeds have brought since Rowan Smith arrived has certainly got me more interested in watching them play.
Yeah.
Lachlan Coote, who of course won those 3 grand finals with St Helens. He kicked so many goals for St Helens. He's kicked the first one of the night, and finally Hull KR are on the ball. 2-0 they lead.
You know, I think points could be really precious in this game. We're not going to see lots and lots of points, but Willie Peters meant first to score. It took him 22 minutes. Rowan Smith, I reckon if he was looking at the way that Leeds have been the last 4 or 5 minutes, they have been under the pump on their own line. They've been scrambling, they've been defending, but I think they'll take them 2 points.
Again, you see the ball held up in the wind. I'm assessing this at about a 6-point advantage, the win that Hull KR have got behind them at present.
The rain continues to hammer down. We look at it from the top of the main stand here at Sewell Group Craven Park. It's swirling around inside, but yeah, as Phil says, it's certainly going from left to right. The wind at the backs of KR in this first half. We've got 16 minutes to go. 2-0 it is, and I would suggest that Willie Peters will be disappointed with that return, with the amount of ball that they've had.
But they'll still be made up. At least that they've got a couple of points on the scoreboard. They've had decent field position. They'll be hoping that'll come after whirling the Rhinos down.
Abdul again is going high, and this time it's Alfort's under pressure. He lets it bounce, and it'll be a try for Hull KR to Lewis Senior. Well, there it is again. Abdul with a superb kick, and Senior with the try. Marcus Griffiths wants to make absolutely sure he thinks it's a try. Ben Thaler will confirm everything.
Live calls a try from the kick. We just pause, make sure he's onside. So pause there. Player to the left, just of him, is offside. Let's see where he goes, please. So he doesn't bring them onside. Let's have a look. He stays out. He stays well out, so that's fine. We can go on from this. So it's to the ground in if we can. Right, boys, picked up clean. And we pause it there. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
Well, Jordan Abdul, the magic left boot of Jordan Abdul has done it again. Alfort's was just in no man's land. The kick did the damage, and Senior with the try. 6-0, and finally Hull KR have their reward.
Well, I'll be fascinated to watch at half-time in the studio what the guys think of this, because I don't think in that angle we can see the right winger whether he's onside or not. That's the decision there we make. It's the player, isn't it, there at the bottom of the screen. But what he's had is more enthusiasm for the chase, the kick than maybe some of the Leeds players. The boot has gone in their favour, and eventually they've turned all this pressure with the boot of Jordan Abdul. He's reaching maturity as a playmaker, and he knows how to put his opponents under extreme pressure. Alfort's can't take the ball in, doesn't even attempt to get close to it, and Senior takes it from a 2 to a 6-point lead.
Well, scored his first try for KR in their big win against Wakefield last weekend, and just got a second one now. And you've got to say that they deserve to be ahead. They deserve the try, and Leeds' defence finally cracked. But how good was that yet again from Abdul? I mean, in these conditions, it's nigh on impossible to read. Coote again, impressive. The left boot of Abdul created the try. The left boot of Coote adds the extras. KR lead 8-0.
If you're a winger or fullback for the Rhinos, you'd be hoping that they'd put more pressure on the man who's kicking the ball. We all know what his strengths are. He's second on the Man of Steel leaderboard behind George Williams. He's had a fantastic year, Jordan Abdul. His strength is his kicking game, and what you've got to do is try to interrupt him and knock him off his rhythm.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think we've seen Leeds with the ball in hand on attack inside the Hull KR 20.
I think you're not mistaken, Stuart. You know, they've done tremendous work in gaining ground, haven't they, down in the middle of the field. I always remember, just thinking back to that try, I think I recall Brian Carney always saying, you just cannot let this ball bounce in this sort of conditions, and that was the mistake that Leeds made.
Rovers deserving of the lead. Well, here he comes, Mikhail Oledzki. Really bad shoulder injury. He had surgery. Last year, he was the top prop in Super League. Nearly 800 tackles. The most for a prop in the competition last year. There's a kick again, an awkward kick, and there's the mistake again by Alford. Surely that was a knock-on, and it was. And at the moment, it's turning into a nightmare for the Leeds Rhino backline.
Well, some people like to change the jobs throughout the career. I reckon now, as a winger or fullback, you'd like to change positions if you had a chance, because you're just going to have a terrible 50-plus minutes. With Jordan Abdul gets that ball here now. I can't quite see if his fingers got to it, but Hull KR now get possession again.
I think, to be fair, Reece Martin didn't do many favours, did he?
Yeah, both of them didn't take control for that.
Fatal hesitation from both. 8-0, and here comes KR once more inside Leeds territory. Mikey Lewis lays it off, and here is Sam Wood. And again, the rain gets harder and heavier and more difficult. Parcell with a little scoop from dummy half. Flat pass for Minchella right in front of the post. Important moments this. Rovers looking to go back-to-back after that try. Offload. Abdul again with a little tricky kick through, and Hooley does well. Does really well there. Watch the ball, and that's a big confidence boost for the young fullback on debut. But it's another goal line dropout, the third.
Well, it's a bit more pressure, isn't it, to deal with? I think it was Mikey Lewis that was putting some pressure on Hooley. They really are having to dig into the line as well and just keeping those defenders honest. They go short again, do they?
Well, short-ish, Reinhold. Astonishing career. 330 games for the Rhinos in 12 years.
Wait, he's got hold of him.
Well, Kennedy eventually gets up, plays the ball. What's the referee saying here?
I think he's trapping Bentley in, making it awkward for him to get set a marker.
Abdul, Coot again. Austin with the tackle. Couple of yards away from the try line, leading 8-0. Abdul again with a little kick through. The chase, the ball's all over the place. And that could be a try underneath the post. Is that Jesse Sue? He's only just come onto the field. And it looks like he's got a second try for Hull KR. Abdul again the architect. And Jesse Sue in the right place at the right time. Ben Thaler will decide.
Live call of a try. Can we just go on the kick, please, and just make sure everyone's okay to start with? And pause on the foot, everybody's okay. I'm okay with that to go right. I just need to make sure that there's no knock-on from Hull when we go through. KR. That's all Leeds. Right, where's the ball now? It's there. Okay, do we have an angle from the other side? This is probably a good angle to get. That's fine, the ball's going through. Right, that's off Leeds. Still off Leeds, fine, keep it going. Pause. Oh, could we just go back on that? So there's no knock on here from Hull KR. This is all off Leeds, and it's not grounded in goal. Right, the live call of a try. Ball's on the ground. All he needs to do is put his hands on it. Just go back on that one. Do we have another angle on this? Thank you, mate. This should be good. You can clearly see the ball here. Okay, go back to that last angle, please. And we'll leave it on this one. And pause there. Thank you, I've now made my decision.
Well, Ben Thaler had a really good look. Jesse Sue has only just come onto the field. And Jesse Sue has got another try for Hull KR. Again, Jordan Abdul causing havoc. I think Hooley was a little bit unlucky because Mikhail Alensky crashed into him. The ball went loose, but it matters not for the home side. They've got another one.
Well, they say the kick's only as good as the chase, and it's a great kick, isn't it? Puts pressure on Hooley. Mikhail Alensky collides with him. Jesse Sue just tracking up. He couldn't believe his eyes. As soon as this ball comes free, he's there. He's ready to pounce. And he gets another 4 points. Could be 6 here from under the sticks.
Well, they're just playing the conditions a lot better, aren't they? Lachlan Coote makes it 3 out of 3. There's still 10 minutes to go to half-time. Jesse Sue's first Super League try, and it's 14 points to 0.
I felt for some years that Jordan Abdul has the potential to win the Steve Prescott Man of Steel Award, which is the individual award for the best player in this competition. At 27 years of age, he's now reaching his maturity. As the playmaker, he has to dictate and drive the team around the field. But he also has to get involved in key moments, which is what he did then. He kicked the ball, he put the pressure on it, and he's given his side a 14-point lead.
Well, it nearly went the way of Leeds. But Aiden Caesar just couldn't hang on to the ball. KR are getting the rub of the green, and they did again there.
Well, he gets hold of it, doesn't he, Aiden Caesar? Unfortunately, can't keep hold of it. They just can't get the ball in Hull KR's half. Hull KR have had 38 play the balls in Leeds' half, whereas Leeds Rhinos have just had the 5.
Oh, look at that, just to confirm. All 6 Easter fixtures live and exclusive on Sky Sports, including Wigan and Saints on Good Friday, and then a double-header again on Saturday, and then on the Sunday we've got the start of the Women's Super League. A repeat of last year's grand final when Leeds just got the better of York, and the double-header from Headingley. That is followed by Leeds against Huddersfield to wrap up a huge Easter weekend of Super League on Sky Sports. And at the moment, it's turning into a huge night for KR, and there is Jesse Sue on the charge. 14-0, and still the rain swirls and gets heavier and gets worse. And here Abdul once more. Where's he going? He's going towards Alford. It splits everybody. Ball goes backwards. And I think Leeds gratefully somehow grasp onto the ball.
They are under pressure, aren't they? They've made more than twice as many tackles in the game than Hull KR, and that's what takes it out of you. You can't get the field position. You're defending your line constantly. You're giving set restarts away, penalties.
Well, just to give you some idea, Hull KR have made 95 tackles. Leeds have made 183. And the rain continues to hammer down. Jenna, have you got your umbrella?
Oh, I need more than an umbrella. These conditions are getting worse and worse. The rain is getting heavier. It's absolutely teeming down. As you can see it there, the wind is also, as you look at the pitch, it's blowing from left to right. The pitch is absolutely saturated. You touched on it before. It's Hull KR that are playing the conditions better. Let's see if Leeds have anything in the late stages of this first half and what they can do in the second.
Well, we played 33 minutes, and that stat that we talked about a little while ago still stands. Leeds have not had the ball in anger inside the KR 20. 14 points to 0, and you know, in these conditions, that is invaluable. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it? Alensky knocked off and knocked down by Ryan Hall.
Like I said before, he's as good as any prop forward, isn't he? Carrying the ball, big, strong, powerful.
You're right, Stuart. It is invaluable, 14-point lead, but it's not all over for Leeds, and you've got to see here now how much fight they've got in them. It's hard, isn't it? And the weather's against them, the crowd's against them. What's the spirit here? How hard are they prepared to work here when the backs are against the wall?
Last one. It'll be Abdul again, under a bit more pressure, but look at that. That's... If he dropped it again... Oh, it's turning into an absolute nightmare for poor Daryl Alford. You've got to feel for him. But in these conditions, he is wreaking havoc with Jordan Abdul.
Would you have thought that's a fullback's ball, Terry?
Well, but
really?
again, you'd say that the players aren't helping themselves. Like Hooley goes for it, Alford goes for it. Someone's got to command this ball and come up with a big shout. Like Alford's in the back of his mind, he's seeing out the corner of his eye Hooley coming.
Is it time for Rowan Smith to take him out of the firing line and try and switch it around?
Look, sometimes you've got to give credit. It's a masterclass by Jordan Abdul. The kicking from Jordan Abdul has been outstanding.
It's as good as you will see. The boys talked about it, didn't they, in the studio before, but it's even better than we imagined it could be. That's how good it's been from Jordan. Everything has come through him, and all the points that KR have scored have been a direct result of what Jordan Abdul's been doing, and they've got a chance for more now before half-time. Here is Kane Linnett. 14 points to 0. And they're well worth it, aren't they? Lewis! Hall on the charge, still going, still going. 1, 2, 3, 4 Leeds players to bring him down. It goes back to Abdul again. Little layoff there for Sam Luckley. He is 2 yards away. The rain gets heavier. The pressure on Leeds becomes more intense. Abdul spins, offload. Superb play, pass out. Here is Jesse Soon. Already got that try, looking for another. O'Connor in there with the tackle, and Lenski trying to help him as well. Ball goes back to Abdul, and guess where it's going? In the direction of Alford. It's taken by Senior, back inside it goes, and that may well be a try for James Batchelor. I think it came off a Leeds hand. It's play on, and I think Batchelor scored. So does Marcus Griffiths. The video ref will make the call. Is it another KR try? Ben Thaler.
We have a live call for try. Can we check from the kickoff, please? And can't see the winger, but he was called on side, so let's just go with that. Still that game on there, so I've got a live call of onside, so you're going to play on from this. The challenge is fine, it's caught clean, and it will just slow it down here. It's in his hand there. Right, just go back. And go on from here. And it's the right foot. Pause there. Just go back slightly. I want to make sure the ball's to his hand. At that point, his foot is touching the line. Keep going. And go forward. Pause. Keep going there. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
It is a game of centimetres. It is a game of millimetres. And a big toe in touch from Lewis Senior, and the try is ruled out, and Leeds survive.
And it's a decision that's just kept Leeds Rhinos in this game.
Spot on.
Where they score that, maybe kick the conversion. Errol Alford tries everything, doesn't contest for the ball, gets Senior, tries to manhandle him off the field of play.
It was that close.
They need some big go forward here now, the Rhinos. Masoni, Mikolaj Aletsky need to make some big inroads. A set restart will certainly help them.
14-0 KR lead. 4 minutes to go to half-time, and we're joined now by the KR assistant coach David Hodgson. In these conditions, this has been a near-perfect performance so far.
Yeah, we've built the game. I think we've been really patient to start the game, where we felt like we might have took some points, but I think we've built it okay, and we've took a few opportunities back end. Just missed out on a close one just then as well.
I've got to say that at the moment, as Newman tries to find a way through, Jordan Abdul has been unplayable.
Oh, he's got a great kicking game. He can put it up there into the clouds, and it's tough to handle, especially in the conditions tonight as well. It's blowing a gale down here now.
Thanks, David. I was going to say keep dry, but it's impossible. 3.5 minutes to go to half-time. 14 points to 0. A rare foray from Leeds inside Hull KR territory, and another error from Leeds.
Well, they choose to run it, don't they, on the last play, and they gift Hull KR 30 hard metres that they would have had to have earned. You see, choose to run it on the last play. He's looking at offloading the ball then when he gets caught up.
You know, we don't have a stat or a number for determination, but I think if we did, I think we'd say simply the team in red have got more determination than the one in blue, or whatever quite colour Leeds are playing in here. Because just look at that's the simple fact that they've got to address Leeds if they can get to half-time without conceding more points.
Confirming St Helens lead 12-0 against Wakefield at half-time, but Saints have suffered an injury, bro. Alex Walmsley going off in the very first minute with a hamstring injury. Lewis goes towards the corner, well taken by Roberts. 3 unconverted tries for Saints to lead, and an injury to Alex Walmsley. Here we have 2 converted tries and a penalty and a 14-point lead for Hull KR. I mentioned the word unplayable, but Abdul has been totally and utterly unplayable.
Yeah, he's been absolutely outstanding. They're saying generating all that field position. We didn't
Another mistake.
Well, the man who made it, Harry Newman, he's one of those players that's got the X factor. We've not really talked about him.
No, he's hardly had the ball. Leeds have hardly had the ball. And this is absolutely vital. Last 2 minutes of the half. 14-0. If KR can get another try here, it could put the top hammer on as far as Leeds are concerned. They came back from 22-8 down last week against Catalan, but that was in dry, good conditions. Right, what's the referee saying here? Is it knock on? Is it knock on from luckily right on the try line, and what an opportunity missed for Hull KR. What relief for Leeds.
Well, the number of handling errors they've made so close to the line, it'll be disappointing. That man, Willie Peters, doing all the hard work to get down in Leeds Rhinos 20 metres. Leeds Rhinos have managed to force the error, but they're still 14 points behind.
Well, it's been survival mode, pure and simple, for Leeds in this first half. Rovers put the push on the scrum. Martin trying to find a way out, but that for me is just an astonishing stat. They haven't had the ball inside the Rovers 20 in the entirety of the first half.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, talking about the conditions in the build-up during this first half, I don't think you're going to see many long-range tries, are we?
You wouldn't have thought so. The offload to Cameron Smith, but he has absolutely nowhere to go, and it's got to be safety first here for Leeds. They can't afford to make another mistake, surely. It's been one of those halves. Has he lost it? No,
it's a penalty.
It's a penalty. It was ripped out in the tackle. So they're going to get a play or a couple of plays. Is this the time to gamble?
Well, Aidan Caesar thinks so, doesn't he? Wanted to get that ball gone as quick as possible, as there's one shot that they've got here. They're lining up on the right-hand side.
Well, this is surely the last play. The seconds are ticking down. It is Caesar and Smith, and they do line up on that right-hand side. Austin picked up by Roberts. Roberts on for the injured footed tour, of course. Back it goes, one-handed, taken by Blake Austin, and they're gambling, they're giving it a go. Here is Caesar. Caesar for Martin. Martin, can he get the ball out? No, he can't. And that will be the end of the first half. Hull KR has been dominant. Jordan Abdul has been absolutely magnificent. 2 tries. They were denied a third by a foot in touch, but it looked like they got another one. As the rain continues to tumble down at half-time, it really has been one-way traffic. It's Hull KR 14, Leeds 0.
Stuart, Phil, Terry, thank you very much. A well-earned rest for the rain-soaked Robins as they trudge off here in the east side of Hull, but they will be delighted heading into the changing rooms here. Call in Steven Stegall. It's under siege, 14-0. The Leeds Rhinos are sunk at half-time here in a very, very wet Craven Park. In the company of John Wilkin and John Wells, we will analyse a Jordan Abdul kicking masterclass that has absolutely terrorised the back three for the Leeds Rhinos. That's coming up after this. Take your pick, or feel free to take them all on Sky Sports this Easter. We will bring you all 6 games from Rivals Round. We'll start with a tense meeting of struggling neighbours, Castleford and Wakefield on Monday, Thursday. Blockbuster derbies from Hull and Wigan on Good Friday, before yet another doubleheader on Saturday. Sunday then sees round 8 for the Men's Super League close at Headingley after the women have opened the day and their season with a repeat matchup from last year's grand final between Leeds and York. 4 days, 7 games, all with us here on Sky Sports. And if you've been with us from about 7:30 tonight, you will know that Hull KR have a 14-0 half-time lead over the Leeds Rhinos in driving wind and rain here in the east side of Hull. Huge effort needed from the Leeds Rhinos to get themselves back into the game. Can they do it, John Wilkin?
Of course they can. It's just deflating after last week, after Catalan, to concede 14 points and be that far behind in the game. It's just deflating for Leeds.
The local boy tipped the Leeds Rhinos pre-game. You went John Wells with Hull KR, sticking with that quite obviously.
Yeah, difficult place to come. And I think they go on with this now and take the 2.
It will be a huge win for Willie Peters and Hull KR before next week's derby game on Sky Sports against the Black and White from the west side of the city. Can they seal it, or can Rowan and the Rhinos get themselves back into this game? You'll find out with our commentary team. It's Phil Clark, Terry O'Connor and Stuart Pike.
And can Leeds do anything about Jordan Abdul? That will be the question for the second half, I'm sure. Is there a route back, Phil, Terry?
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? The kicking game from that man, Jordan Abdul. The 2 tries they've scored, they're from the kicking game, the boot that he's got. They need to put more pressure on him, use the wind to their advantage now, the Rhinos in this second half. Exactly the same as what Hull KR did in the first. And who knows what can happen. They came back last week against against Catalan when nobody expected it.
Well, on the basis of the 7 games so far, it looks like
and it could be a try early doors. It was Jesse Sue who went through, and he nearly went through all the way. What a terrible start from the kickoff. And is that a try? It is. It is a try for Hull KR. What a way to start the second half. Kane Lynette, I think, is the man who's got the try. Play 2 of the half, and nightmare continues for Leeds. And it was all about the Abdul kickoff. Leeds let it bounce. Sue went close. Lynette went even closer.
Well, you've got to have some urgency. The coaches give you direction in the change rooms. You've got to make sure you get this ball. You can't sit back. Yeah, the conditions are bad. The boys are waiting for it to come to them. They've got to go to the ball. And on the back of that charge from Sue, I think it's Hooley that just misses Kane Lynette. He goes over the top of him. And they'll be so disappointed to start the second half like they have. It was all about the start. It was a much needed improvement that they had to show the fans. And that's not the way to do it.
Well, it was absolutely amazing, that really, wasn't it? I mean, Leeds, I've just been watching Harry Newman and Blake Austin have a heated argument there behind the post when that try was conceded. Chev Walker's trying his best, he's the assistant with the yellow top on here, to try and spark the team back to life, but it's not as though Leeds hadn't been aware. Kicks have been held up in the wind. They were the ones kicking off in the first half. But there is some hope still for them, maybe less so after that try. If you just look at the performances in the 6 games before tonight, 2022, they've been twice as good and half as bad. What I mean by that, really, in the second halves, they've scored almost twice as many points and they've conceded half as many. You see that after the half-time break, they've been a very, very good side, a great side even, but they made life almost impossible at 18-0.
Can Lachlan Coote make it 20 points to 0? No, that one just drifting to the right of the post, but 18-0 it was. That was nearly a record. That was nearly a try in 8 seconds at the start of this second half.
I think that missed conversion, though. Here's the kick, bounces up for Sue. He charges through, he just pulled down short of the try line. And Leeds can't recover. It was an absolute disaster for them. But again, I make this point, with Lachlan Coote missing that kick, his goal-kicking percentage this season down at about 60%, well below his normal. Not been good. 18-0, Leeds are still in this game. Don't think about turning off yet, but they need some players with some tremendous fighting spirit here now.
Well, what are they going to do? Are they going to go short? Are they going to use the conditions? Are they going to test Hull KR from the kickoff? Well, it's a conventional kickoff from Blake Austin, and I go back to the question I asked before he was so rudely interrupted by another Rovers try. Is there any way back for Leeds now?
Of course there is. Their ability that can, a team that have got the ability to score points, maybe it's even more difficult in these situations, but I go back to the point, really, you've got to have a greater level of determination. I think that's where they've been outplayed so far. We talk about there's a mistake from Hull KR in the best part of the field for Leeds here. We talk about Jordan Abdul's kicks have been great, they've caught the eye, but you forget about all the quality tackles and the aggressive runs that Hull Kings Rovers made, which set the foundations to allow Abdul to do what he did.
Jesse Sue with the error. And this, as we approach 43 minutes, could well be the first time we see Leeds with the ball in hand inside the Rovers 20 in the entire game. You feel they have to score and score quickly if they're going to get back into this game. Reece Martin playing in the centre for the second consecutive week. Bentley it is, taking the ball into that 20. 18 points to 0. Bentley getting involved, getting a little feisty, as is his want. Chance this time from Lasoni. Big Sam is pushed back. Defence good, luckily it was, with Holton in that tackle. Caesar, Newman cutting inside, looking for a way through. There is none, luckily again with the tackle down low. Sue and Holton again going up high. And Ledsky, very, very powerful, testing that shoulder injury. Plays the ball eventually. It is Caesar. Caesar with a little chip through towards the corner. And Roberts it is who wins the race. And that could be Leeds on the board with their first ever attack. Lewis Roberts. The call is a try. The video ref Ben Thaler will make the ultimate decision.
We have a live call, the try. Can we just go and check from the kick through, please? And pause there. Everybody to the right hand side is onside, so we can roll this on. It's just caught cleanly. This is a good angle because you see the line clearly here. Caught, foot's in the field of play. Slim possession, slim possession, slim possession. Keep going. Right, thank you. Could we just have another angle on the grounding from the side? I'm happy his legs are in the field of play. If we have anything on the side to make sure the ball just in his hands, stays in, stays in, stays in. Pause it there. Keep it going. Thank you. I've now made my decision.
It looks like a lifeline for Leeds. An error from Hull KR, an error from Jesse Sue it was. The first attack of the entire game in anger. And they come up with a try. Maybe, just maybe, there's a way back. I felt they had to score then, and they did.
Well, you're right, aren't they? The opportunity. Caesar and Austin here now have to show their experience and lead the team here now. A recovery start, the 4 points, and the kick to come with this is equally as important, but it's a good finish from a winger. Well, he's played most of his career as a centre. Given an opportunity in the right place, the right time, grounded at 4 points. Fascinating attempted conversion here now from the sideline. Very difficult one, but equally very important.
First try for Leeds for Lewis Roberts. He's playing on the wing. If you are just joining us, in the first half, the Rhinos lost David Fusitu'a with what looked like a nasty ankle injury. And Roberts coming on, slotting into the wing position and scoring the try. Of course, Reece Martin had his worst day ever with the boot for Leeds last weekend. In the end, it mattered not with that brilliant comeback win, of course, in the second half against the Catalan Dragons. But just 1 from 6 last weekend at Headingley. This one off the touchline. Wow. That, in these conditions, is a magnificent kick. What a kick from Reece Martin. And laying the demons of what happened last week, and Leeds are back in it. It's 18 points to 6. Let's go pitch side. And Jenna.
Yeah, Stuart, you mentioned David Fusitu'a there. He was helped from the pitch in the first half, wasn't he? Well, he has his left foot in a boot, and he'll be going for scans later this week. Not good news for the winger.
No, not at all. Of course, Leeds featuring at home against Huddersfield, aren't they?
Well, that's a big blow, isn't it?
It is. He played in every game. He had a nightmare with injuries last year, didn't he?
Yeah, and they got Nawash Hanley as well. He's out injured. So losing the 2 frontline wingers doesn't help the Rhinos club.
Back with me. Wait. Go on.
O'Connor.
Back, you're off.
Olewski on the charge.
You know, Terry pointed out, didn't he, at one point the possession was 60-40 in favour of Hull KR in this match. But games rarely finish at that level, really. The nature of the sport tends to balance it out a bit closer than that. And as we're starting to see in our penalty, more possession for Leeds, they've certainly got points in them.
Well, they have scored with their first attack in anger in the entire game. They're back in it. 18 points to 6. We're joined by the Leeds assistant, Chev Walker. Chev, it's a lifeline for you.
Yeah, you could say that. We'd obviously game plan for Abdul's kicks, but not the conditions. But all tries tonight have come from kicks, and the conditions are pretty bad, so we need to fix that up. But the play count was, I think they had 50% more play balls than us in the first half, so get a little bit of possession in our way and a little bit more momentum, and the game changes.
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Having the ball in hand, and we know what happened last weekend when you have that in the second half with a brilliant comeback against Catalan.
Yeah, again, like last week. We've got to deal with Hull KR that are full of beans and they're working for each other, so we've just got to try and break them down a little bit there.
Thanks, Chev. There's the kick through.
Thank you.
And it was well taken. It had to be as well. Mikey Lewis right on his own line, but again, Caesar with the ball in hand. Saying play on, have another go, says the referee Marcus Griffiths. Yeah, interesting. It was first of all, it was an error from Hull KR. Leeds get the try, and then it was a penalty given away by Hull KR, and Leeds are just beginning to get a bit of wind in their sails.
Look, all teams in these conditions want to press hard. This is where you find out about who wants to defend and who wants to carry the ball. Either side of the ball, you've got to get stuck in. The Rhinos obviously behind on the scoreboard. They're desperate to get the ball and keep the ball down here.
Oh, Sue again with the charge, brought down by Cameron Smith. It was a good tackle. Saints now lead Wakefield 20 points to 0. And that is a mistake. No, it isn't. Well, it looked like it was a mistake because as the ball left the boot, Jordan Abdul put his hand up to apologise to his teammates.
You could see the wind. Yeah, that's it. The wind. He only made 20 metres with the ball. He's put under a bit of pressure. He slices it, comes off his side of his boot, doesn't get the distance because of the conditions, but bounces out to field the play. Leeds Rhinos get the ball on halfway.
Am I right? Can I sense a bit more of zip, fire?
They were very similar. They were very similar last week against Catalan. The second half, the forwards ran harder. They were pushing up. There was a bit of shape. The conditions weren't the same as this.
Cameron Smith, who led from the front, brilliant, wasn't he, in the second half demolition of the Dragons at Headingley last Saturday. Here is McDonnell again, elusive, underrated player, but rated very highly, I can assure you, at Headingley.
Yeah, quality player. I said he was one of those players that went under the radar. Very good on the edge.
O'Connor and Caesar. Sam Lasoni. For the second half, apart from 10 seconds, when Hull KR scored a try right from the kickoff just about, has been Leeds. And they're dominating and they're going again, but it wasn't the best of passes maybe from Aidan Caesar. And there is the error from Luke Cooley. It's been a difficult debut in difficult conditions, hasn't it, for Luke Cooley?
Yeah, well, if you're a Rhinos player, though, Luke Cooley makes the mistake here. The ball in front of him.
Now Leeds offside.
Yeah,
error, penalty. They can't afford to do that.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, just because Luke Cooley makes the mistake, I think it's Bentley that goes off. He's offside. He stood right next to the referee. He's not going to get away with that. But just because you make an error, it doesn't mean that you have to concede a try. They've got to have the same intent in defence, just a different part of the field they're defending.
Of course, last weekend we talked about that superb comeback win for Leeds against Catalan. Important win for KR as well, snapping a 3-game losing run with a convincing victory at Wakefield. Looking to back it up here, they've got a set restart. And here comes Parcell. So it's been error, penalty, set restart. Look where Rovers are now, 10 yards away from the try line. Looking to punish the Rhinos once more. Minchella goes in for Sam Luckley. Could be a shrewd signing, Luckley. Brought him in from Salford. but does the heavy yards, that's for sure. Abdul, Lynette again, who got the try in the very first minute of the second half. Here comes the pressure. Lewis and Abdul, and luckily again charging towards those posts. Couple of tackles left in the set. Here is Matt Parcell. And Minchella looks for a way through. Offload, well picked up by Abdul, under pressure from Blake Austin, but did well picking up. Like one hand, one bounce, wasn't it?
Well, you're happy that he's got the ball and he's playing on the last play.
Yep. Well, Parcell has found Coote, and it's Coote who'll put the little kick through, and Hooley and Alforts, and was that a knock-on? Rovers were saying it was a knock-on. The touch judge has come on to confirm to the referee, Marcus Griffiths, that it was a knock-on, and they're going each other's way, Alforts and Hooley.
Well, I said you're having Jordan Abdul getting caught up.
Where's the knock-on?
And I don't think he knocks that ball on.
No, a bit bad luck there, isn't it? The touch judge just made a live call. On that angle, it didn't look like one.
Let's have another look.
He goes down, he picks it up. Alforts pulls out of it for me. He's got it with his right hand.
Still connected to his body, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was there a little wobble at the end? Could be a tough call on Leeds. But it was the touch judge who made the call.
Yeah, good team score from the scrums. How good a Hull KR.
Abdul in for Sam Wood.
Penalty, they'll kick it goal here, won't they?
Yeah.
They broke from the scrum and they were offside. There were a variety of players who could have been penalised here, defending near their own try line.
There's been a catalogue of errors, error, penalty, set restart, error, penalty, and it's going to end up, you would think, with 2 points for Hull KR.
So the guys in the scrum have to stay in the scrum while the ball's there, and the other defenders here on the right-hand side, Caesar, O'Connor, they have to stay back 10 metres as well.
Well, it's interesting as well that a scrum offence this season is no longer a differential penalty, it's a full penalty, isn't it?
Rightly so.
Yeah. So that means that Coote has got the opportunity to extend the Hull KR lead, coming up for 54 minutes. Windy, rainy, miserable night in Hull, but not on the field for the home side. Well, of course, this would make it a 3-score game. Phil was making the points after Coote missed the conversion to that early try in the second half from Kane Linnett.
Well, do you know they're in a similar type situation? They played Warrington at home and he missed a penalty kick.
Yep.
It was probably a more difficult one than this. They ended up losing to Warrington. The situation was different. But a lot of friends of mine who Hull KR fans have said that was the best performance of the season. This will go very close to it. 2 more points should push them towards a win.
20 points to 6. Yeah, 20 points to 6, Phil. 55 minutes on the clock, and as that brief leads come back and snug down.
Well, Marcus Griffiths now just having a little chat with Blake Austin, saying why he's made a couple of decisions. They go, shot just goes a bit too far for Alforts.
Down. Did the ball go backwards? It did. Well, it was Lewis Senior who put the ball down.
Do you know, and when Hull KR are losing the ball or dropping the ball, it's going backwards. Whenever Leeds Rhinos are dropping it, they knock it on. Jared O'Connor goes for the shot, trying to dislodge the ball off Senior. See when Senior gets it, pulls it back.
I remember way back, our friend Ian Millward, when he was coaching St Helens, said, as we see Saints now leading Wakefield by 26 points to 0, that in conditions like these, especially conditions like these, that the rub of the green and the bounce of the ball plays a big part.
Yeah, the calls have got to go for you, the 50-50 things. Like sometimes they kill you, but you can't dwell on them. Another decent kick into the corner.
Oh, Abdul, now did he play at that? Or did it come off his ankles? He did play at it. It's going to be given as a knock-on, and even when Abdul goes on the ground with the kick, it results in another Leeds mistake. Now, Jordan Abdul is going to get 3 points for the Steve Prescott Man of Steel tonight, methinks.
Well, Lewis Roberts first of all, then Luke Hooley makes an error. They're doing it tough, the back three, aren't they? They've been tormented.
Yeah. Can I just point out that in this set, Leeds will go over 100 more tackles made in this game than Hull KR. 177 tackles from the Robins, 275 tackles made by Leeds.
And 14 missed tackles by the Rhinos compared to just 4 by the home side.
Well, you feel here as we approach the hour mark, one more try and that will be it, especially in these conditions. I'm sure KR know that as well. Good yardage made by James Batchelor. By the way, his brother Joe, Saints are hoping will be back next month, or maybe later this month. Injured. I think he was injured against St George, wasn't he?
Not a lot of time in this month, has his shoe yet, to quite make that comeback.
Next month. Thanks, Phil. It's the 31st of March. You know what I mean. And KR know what they mean, because they mean business here. Once more, ball goes inside for Kane Linnett. What a servant he's been for.
Yeah, outstanding.
One of the best overseas players they've had, 5 years. Abdul with the kick through. Well, the ball was left behind, I think, by Frankie Holton.
Frankie Holton.
But it was nearly another Abdul-made try.
Again, it was a good kick, wasn't it, from Jordan Abdul. Drops it down. Just can't quite get hold of the ball. Leeds Rhinos will get head and feed here when they got some distance, having 90 metres away from KR's line. You just feel that they need a penalty, a set restart to buy some land, buy some ground.
Will they do a kick pass across the field here? You know,
was it last week they did that?
Yeah, and they've done it in other games, haven't they? You see Ryan Hall's just dropping back a little bit. Hull KR prepared. They're aware of some of the trick shots that might give Leeds a lifeline.
Is it time to gamble, even in these conditions?
Well, there you go. There's a set restart. A good, strong carry from Reece Martin.
"20 minutes or so to go." Here's Sangare. Had a really strong start to the season for Leeds as well, hasn't he? O'Connor, an acting halfback. Austin going on his own up to halfway. O'Connor again marshalling his troops. Picked up by Cameron Smith. Trying to offload, thinks better of it. Goes down just inside the Hull KR half of the field. Sangare with the pass, and Caesar it is, arrowing the kick downfield, but there was nothing in it. It was a nothing kick, and it was easily taken by Coop.
There was a nice shot by Aidan Caesar as well. See what the Rhinos' line speed's like. There it is. Again, Jared O'Connor leading. Here it up. Again, every contact now has got to be around the ball area.
O'Connor again leading the tackle count for Leeds. 45 tackles for the Leeds hooker, 47 in 73 minutes. So he's going to top that tonight. He's been busy. He's had to be. Most of the Leeds players have been busy. His dad never used to make that many tackles, that's for sure.
I missed that many in a game. Trust me.
Hour gone, 20 points to 6. Here's Kane Linnett, just shy of halfway. Ball will again go to Abdul. Fires the kick downfield, and again it's perfect, isn't it? It did what it said on the tin. It stopped a yard away from the Leeds line.
Well, he mixes his kicking game, doesn't he? Whether he was looking for the sideline or just trying to kick into the corner and build some pressure yet again through some strong defence.
Well, our Wakefield going to be nilled yet again in Super League. It would be the 4th time. But here come the Rhinos with Austin down that far side, and that's a brilliant tackle from Lachlan Coote. Two 32-year-olds going up against each other. Coote made the tackle. Here is Alfords now, and they're going to shift it to this right-hand side. Bit of space, but good scrambling defence from Hull KR. O'Connor once more. Tom Holroyd. Last tackle. Is it the kick? Or is it going to run it on the last? Austin looking to find a way through. Does with a good pass. Caesar. Alfords chips the ball through, and it's kicked on by Reece Martin, but kicked on too much. It'll be a tap on the 20. There'll be no rushing here from Hull KR, that's for sure.
A positive for Leeds. I think that's about the most dangerous. They've looked in attack. You know, they kept the ball out. The final kick went too long, but they're starting to, I think, well, maybe when the clock's ticking away against them here now, starting to chance their arm a little bit more in possession. You've got to get the ball to your best players as often as you can in best situations. That's the simple thing that every team knows. The best teams can do it.
I mentioned right at the start that the bare minimum for both these teams has got to be the playoffs at the end of the season.
Yeah.
No, anything less than that for both of them would be failure.
I agree, it would be a failure. Both of the sides, big clubs, big investment from them, aspirations to be successful, not just in the Super League, but in the Challenge Cup as well. Lift some silverware.
Kennedy back on the field. What does this performance, Phil, tell you about Hull KR?
It tells me that they can be a good team. Whether they can do it 25 times in the season is the challenge. Tell me, in these conditions, they've probably got the best kicker of the ball, haven't they?
That's another beauty, isn't it?
That for me, that's what it tells you about that man. Whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, do you know, he has got an outstanding kicking game.
I think what Jordan Abdul is here is making John Wells redundant with the player of the match, though, because there is only one candidate.
It has been a masterclass from him.
That's a really good word to describe it. It's been a masterclass from Jordan Abdul in every facet. But what a kicking game, as good as it could possibly be, but in these conditions, even better than that. Clock ticking, 16 minutes to go, 20 points to 6. All of a sudden, a hush around the stadium. I wonder if all the fans here, 9,000 plus, are realising that maybe, just maybe, it's game over. Leeds will be trying to make sure that that isn't the case. Cameron Smith and Austin with a little short pass. Well, no, he held on to it. Good decision. It may well have been forward if he'd let go. Last one inside the Hull KR half. And O'Connor finds Aidan Caesar under pressure from Kennedy. And Lachlan Coote very happy to let that bounce.
Penalty, big decision here from the referee. Late challenge on the kicker.
Well,
was it Reece Kennedy?
It was Kennedy, but was it a late challenge? Let's have a look. I'm not sure.
Well, the referee says it was. That's all that Leeds need to focus on here now, don't they? I think, again, fractional unlucky.
And like I said before, Stuart, like, you get calls that come for you and go against you. That one maybe have gone for them.
50-50. But it went in favour of the Leeds Rhinos. Kennedy was penalised. And here are Leeds now. Got to score from this set, I feel. Sangare charging towards the line. King in there with the tackle, along with Kennedy, pushing the powerful Frenchman back. Plays the ball as quickly as he can. O'Connor. Little pass for Austin. Long pass out there for Alfords. Alfords looking for a way through. The door is slammed shut in the face of Daryl Alfords.
Well, he did well to get down then under some pressure.
Martin swings the pass out. Bentley, again with nowhere to go. Still a couple of tackles left in this set. And still 14.5 minutes to go. O'Connor and Austin. Austin puts the kick through, and that may well have come off Abdul. And I think they're going to get another set on the Hull KR line.
Yeah, another set of 6 is exactly what they need. But I'm with you as well, Stu. They need to score in the next couple of minutes.
Was he not offside, though? Is there not a penalty? Did he not come from a Hull Kingston Rovers player forward, and Coote intentionally plays at the ball? In my eyes and my understanding of the rules, that's a penalty to Leeds.
I think it's broad as it's long, isn't it? Because they wouldn't have gone for the kick, so... But yeah, you're right. They're still going to get a set. Another one on the line, and they've got to come up with points. Caesar looking for Newman. Not seen too much of the talent that is Harry Newman tonight. Holroyd. Offside, so another penalty. It's all going in Leeds' favour, but they've got to cash in here. They've got to cash in with 4 points. Austin looking for a way through. Abdul hanging on. Holton there finishing the tackle. For me, this is the game here and now. If Hull KR keep them out, there's surely no way back. If Leeds can get points on the board, there is a way back. Cameron Smith, wrapped up by
he's lost it.
He's lost the ball. He's lost the ball. Well, there you go. That just about sums it up. And I wonder, with that error, has gone any slim hopes Leeds had of getting back in this match.
Well, that wouldn't have happened years ago, would it? A little halfback going at one of the biggest men on the field in Sangare.
I don't know, Terry. They tell me Alex Murphy was pretty brave. I wasn't around to see him play, but I think the bravest halfbacks have always backed themselves in that sort of situation. People plays like Tommy Bishop. There's 1 or 2, I think, over the years.
Sean Edwards certainly wouldn't have taken a backward step. Andy Gregory certainly wouldn't have taken a backward step.
Hull KR annoyed at what Justin Sangare does here, does it? I don't know, to Lachlan Coote. There's an injury to their fullback.
Yeah, Mikey Lewis saying bring it on. Coote stays down. What do you reckon?
Well, he's down on the floor, Lachlan Coote. I'm not sure where he hits him. He's the one who gets hold of the ball. Jared O'Connor gets hold of him. He takes a shot. I think, is it off Hooley?
What they're doing now is a live disciplinary hearing, aren't they? But they're looking for replays to see what happens.
Yes. Might give us a better idea.
Keep the game going, in my opinion.
I think it's Luke Hooley, the man who's been picked out from the ref.
Yeah, penalty it is. And the clock is ticking. 12 minutes to go. Well, fabulous weekend, Easter weekend on Sky Sports. All 6 Super League games live and exclusive, starting with Castleford against Wakefield on Maundy Thursday. An added bonus as we go through to Easter Sunday, a double-header with the big kick-off of the Women's Super League, Leeds taking on York, followed by the Rhinos against Huddersfield. 7 games in 4 days, all live on Sky Sports. 20 points to 6, King brought down. And I wonder if you feel here that Leeds are now resigned to their fate.
Well, it looks like they're just closing the game down. Again, just nice and easy. Those middle defenders, Jared O'Connor, I think that's the 3rd or 4th on the bounce that he's done.
Yeah, approaching 50 tackles now, O'Connor. In a losing cause as well. Abdul with a short pass, Linnett looking for a second try, stopped just short of the line. It is the last one. Little kick through, and Smith it is who picks up the loose ball, but it's yet another goal line dropout.
Great kick, wasn't it? Jez Litton on this occasion. We've seen Lachlan Coote put dangerous kicks in. It's not just been about Abdul, a collective effort to trap their opponents and put them under pressure. Just over 10 minutes to go here. Leeds haven't given this up here. Attempted short kick up, and it hits the Leeds player. I think it's Jared O'Connor. Yeah. That's a penalty. And I think they'll just take 2 more points.
They will.
And the Robins fans will practice the singing for the game against their arch rivals Hull, going in with so much confidence here now after almost a season high, season best performance here tonight.
Not a lot O'Connor could do about that. It wasn't the best of short kicks from Blake Austin, a 4th goal line dropout. No, I don't think they are going to go for the 2. They're going to run it. Jez Litton is on the field. I suppose it's broad as it's long, isn't it? The Leeds have still got to score 3 times, whatever, so they may as well go for the try, and they're not going to get it as Kennedy makes the error. It's a great call in hindsight, but there you go. It remains 20 points to 6, but we're in to the last 10 minutes. By the way, that big Hull derby on Good Friday. I believe they've already sold over 20,000 tickets.
Well, I just wonder if there are any Robins fans who are considering whether or not to go to that game. After this performance tonight, I'm certain that either this evening or tomorrow they'll make every effort to do whatever you have to do to get a ticket in there. They'd want to see just how, you know, what Willie Peters has done here now to this side, and whether 2023 really is their year where they can assert their dominance over the black and whites.
Well, the ball went backwards. St Helens 38, Wakefield 0 is the full-time score. And that's the fourth time, incredible, the fourth time in 7 games that Wakefield have been nilled in this Super League season. If you are just joining us, a reminder that Saints have lost Alex Walmsley with a hamstring injury in the very first minute of that game. Here we've got 9 minutes to go. Austin's kick, well watched and well taken by Lachlan Coote. This is the second of a 2-year contract here. You would think that he would stay.
Yeah, he's outstanding, isn't he? Everyone you talk to, he's loving his time. If there's a mistake, senior. Again, just a bit of line speed from the Leeds Rhinos defenders. They're getting up quick, you can see. I think he had Jared O'Connor in his eye line. He's tried to step back into around the ruck area. Loses possession.
I think also Senior was caught in 2 minds of which angle to run, and looked a bit awkward.
Well, that's what line speed does to you. You have to change your mind. You have to decide where you're going to run. If someone's aggressive getting off the line, you try and change it at the last minute.
What would you know about line speed?
Not much.
7.5 minutes to go, 20 points to 6. Well, I think one thing you can say is that Leeds have been better in the second half, but not good enough, you feel. O'Connor, Lassoni on the charge. I mean, Jared O'Connor's done a big stint, hasn't he? But good defence from the Robins here. Leeds will believe, they'll still have to believe. Smith did well, stretching to hang on to that. The rain, if anything, is even heavier. Possibly the heaviest it's been during the whole evening, and it's been hammering down for most of it. Caesar with a kick through, and Coote can't get it, and it looks like another try for Leeds. McDonnell, who's been outstanding. Is it McDonnell who scored? I think it is.
It's the second Leeds try, and it's the second time a kick from Aidan Caesar. Left foot, stabs it between the defenders. So very skillful to put the ball between the 2 players with a split second of time that you've got here before you're trapped in possession. You don't want to kick the ball too hard. There's maybe some fortune that Coote can't take it in. And this is a very quick conversion attempt now from Reece Martin.
The conditions are appalling.
The game isn't over.
It isn't. It's 20 points to 12. First try for Leeds earlier on for Lewis Roberts. First try now for Leeds for James McDonnell. We mentioned earlier how highly Rowan Smith thinks of McDonnell, but he did really well then. He read the play well.
Didn't he just to get his composure back and get hold of the ball, put the pressure on. You just have a little look when he gets hold of this ball. It ricochets up. He's got to make sure he just calms his nerves, gets hold of it. 8 points behind now. Can they pull it out of the bag in the final 6 minutes? You look at them this year, they had a 6 points loss against Cass. They've had a 4 points loss against Hull FC. Everyone within that Leeds group, whoever you talk to, say that they're disappointed with those 2 losses.
I'll tell you what, if they pull this one out the bag, it would be absolutely astonishing.
Yeah.
Taken well by Newman. 5 and a bit minutes to go. They've got to score twice. The offload, the corner goes down. Cameron Smith at dummy half. They really have to go for it. Good charging run from the much improved Tom Holroyd as well. He's been a big pick, hasn't he? Deputising for Lenski at the start of the season. Lassoni.
Well, a couple of good carries there
for
Lassoni.
Up to halfway.
Yeah.
Smith. Now Caesar, now they're going for it. Looping pass, picked up well by Durrell at Alford. Smith once more. Not the best of passes, it's picked up by Roberts. And Roberts brought down by Mikey Lewis it is, on the last, just inside the Hull KR half. And the referee has stopped the clock. He's just saying go back a yard or two, Marcus Griffith. But it is the last. Where's the kick going to come from? It's a little chip over from Caesar. It's a good one as well. It's read well, though, by Coon. Really good full-back play. He read the play. The Leeds there were looking for a penalty. I think Newman was saying he might have been obstructed as he was trying to go through. Coot did well, and Coot is down again.
Well, he's took a heavy challenge, hasn't he? Mikey Lewis trying to referee the game and do the job for him. Marcus Griffiths.
Well, it'd be a little worrying because Lachlan Coote had 2 or 3 instances, didn't he, of concussion last year.
Is there any obstruction on the bottom of your screen there? It was Halton on Newman, not according to the referee. He thought he obstructed him and took him out, chasing the kick.
Let's see what happens here to Coote. It was Hooley with the challenge on his opposite number.
That's not a high shot for me.
No.
Like, he's just gone to wrap his arms around him.
Well, it is a high shot, according to Marcus Griffiths, because Luke Hooley...
It's Justin Sangare, isn't it?
Is it Sangare? He's going to...
I think it's contact with the head, yeah, on the replay. I think that's what we just saw. Oh no, he's now sending.
No,
he's sending.
It's a green card.
Off.
Yeah, it's a green card. Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, there's no foul play. There wasn't any foul play in it.
And we saw an instance.
Luke Hooley. If you look at this now, he goes in. Look, his arms are wide. He goes to wrap. Sangare comes in. And I think that's what you were on about, wasn't it, Phil?
Lachlan Coote will have to be off now for a couple of minutes. We saw an instance of that, didn't we, when in the Saints Huddersfield game, when Lomax was given a green card as well. You can look at the rain there. You can see it hammering it down.
Again, that's real good line speed from Leeds Rhinos. They're trying absolutely everything here. But you think that clock's against them at 8 points. They lost the ball. Have they? No, it's a penalty.
Well, this time Sangare is penalised. Camden Smith, the captain, just having a word with the referee, Marcus Griffith. But into the last 4 minutes now.
Ooh, again. Very difficult decisions that the ref has to make live.
Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't.
I think you do, yes. You could debate that for a while. The video ref doesn't look at it, and Suno carries the ball to the halfway line.
Well, in many ways, you would think that the game was won and lost in that first half, when in the conditions were played brilliantly by Hull KR.
In that first half and the very first play of the second half.
Yeah. Frankie Holton missed the win at Wakefield. It's going to be back-to-back victories for KR in 4th place in the table, and certainly meaning business in 2023. But it'll be 4-3 and 8 points for Hull KR, but it'll be 3-4. And I think, despite the fact that they had that brilliant win at Saints and also that fabulous comeback win against Catalan, 4 defeats in 7 would represent a very disappointing return for Leeds. There's the kick up again from Abdul, and Alford takes this one, but under extreme pressure once more. 2.5 minutes to go, and they're starting virtually on their own line.
Like you said, Stuart, you've got to make sure in close encounters, the teams that get to the grand final or to cup finals, they win those close games. That's 3 losses if the score stays like it is. 8 points or less. They're going for that short kick-off. It worked last week, didn't work this week.
Yeah, a little chip over the top, wasn't it, for the winger from Blake Austin. Fair play. I mean, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. He had to try something.
Yeah, clock's against it. It worked last week. Unfortunately, it doesn't work this week. Ryan Hall, he just spots that he's in field a bit, and he just can't quite get it to the centre, Harry Newman.
Well, I asked Phil earlier what this performance and this win will say about Hull KR. I'll ask you now what this performance and this defeat will say for for the Leeds Rhinos.
Like I said, they're going to be disappointed, aren't they? Like in close games, when you're looking to get to the top of the table and you lose 3 by 8 points or less, you've got to knock over those games. You've got to win those close contests, find ways to win. And I'm sure Roland Smith will be really, really disappointed with how those games have panned out.
Well, next up for Leeds, Easter Sunday at home to Huddersfield. Next up for KR, of course, the big derby against the Black and Whites on Good Friday lunchtime. Kane Linnett, it was his try the first minute of the second half, which really, you feel, sewed it all up for Hull KR. King hurls the ball out, hurls this. It was like a hammer thrower. Picked up by Linnett. Litton, King again, charging forward. He is a good, he's underrated, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Top drop goal from your man here.
Yeah.
Jordan Abdul wants to finish with the
proverbial one-pointer. Instead, he's going to kick it through, looking for a 4-pointer. The ball goes to ground, and it's picked up by Abdul, but it's a knock-on. Well, that would have been the perfect finale for KR and for Jordan Abdul, surely the player of the match. Yeah, just a little knock-on into the last 20 seconds. And the Hull KR, as they are caught, like a high shot in the end, I think, from Kane Linnett. But for Hull KR and for Willie Peters, this is a fantastic win. Kick downfield from Newman, and it'll be picked up by Senior, and he'll just throw the ball out. That's it. That's the end of the game, and that is a very, very good performance from Hull KR. A big 2 points for the Robins. For Leeds, big disappointment after their comeback win against Catalan. They just really never gave themselves a chance. They were never in it. And in Jordan Abdul, Hull KR had the standout player. Stellar performance from Abdul. His boot absolutely sealing it for the Robins in the first half. In the conditions, a terrific game. And it finished Hull KR 20, Leeds Rhinos 12.
Stuart, Terry, Phil, thank you very much. Spring has sprung somewhere in the world.